Americans love scenery. We want to see it all, from one coast to the next, Mount Rushmore down to the Everglades. So hop into a Chevy Malibu and take the scenic route. It's the car you knew America could build. There's a place where people count on friendships they can trace back generations, where they can count on the same stool at the coffee shop waiting for them every morning. This place is called Glen Ellen, and you can find it in every bottle of Glen Ellen wine. This is craft brewed Herman Joseph's, the smoothest, easiest drinking specialty beer in the entire solar system. And I believe you'll find drinkable in the dictionary right after don't order a beer you can't drink. Zoingo! Boingo! The freestyle pogo with more boing, more bounce. Bounce further, bounce higher with Zoingo Boingo. To see what makes Arrowhead Mountain Spring water different from those other waters, you have to go back to the source. And with Arrowhead, that means going back a little farther and longer than most. Between security challenged and security strengthened, there's one important word: how. And it is the how that makes all the difference to our nation and our world. Lockheed Martin. We never forget who we're working for. What makes Kraft Singles so good? 2 out of every 3 kids don't get the recommended amount of calcium. But with Kraft Singles, they get a good source of calcium and the taste they love. Kraft Singles. Magic every single time. Throw boring overboard with a new real meal from Long John Silver's. A meal worthy of a plate, just $4.99. Only at Long John Silver's. We may not all be geniuses, but we can all do something smart. Introducing the Hyundai 199 Sonata Lease. It's a smart deal on a really smart car.
When I came in late the other day, she told me, she said, "You ain't going nowhere tonight." I said, "I'm going out, honey." She said, "You ain't going no goddamn where tonight." I said, "Baby," I said, who the hell you think you're talking to? I said, "Look at my birth certificate. I'm 42 years old." She said, "You want to be 43? This is a true story, man. I went out anyway, right? I was so nervous, I couldn't really play. I couldn't play. And I'm sitting up there, man, I'm playing. My pager kept going off, and everybody was teasing me and everything. And then she told me, I said, "Man, let me use your phone. I'm sick of my wife's car. I'm fronting. I'm really fronting." So I called home and everything, and I said, "Hello?" I said, "Don't ask me a goddamn thing. Just pay attention." I said, "Don't worry about where the hell I am. I'm in my skin. I'll be home, goddammit, when I get there. When I get there, I better have something to eat. And it better be hot, and it better be good. You think I'm bullshitting?" I said, "Let me speak to your mama."
Good morning. It's Friday, Fight Song Friday, November the 21st, and this is The True Conservative. Welcome to all the butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers out there. I'm Ron, your host, and the only true conservative in the United States today. So today, after the Serenity Prayer and the patriotic song of the day, we will have Varney and Company, motivation, meditation, and the collapse of parenting. All that and more when I get back. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I should not change, the courage to change the things I should, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Thank you, Maria. Then Stu.
Today on Fox.
You have Javier Becerra, you have Katie Porter, you have Eric Swalwell. Gavin Newsom is clearly the superstar out of that group. He does not appear to be running. I do not think he can. But California, you're served to America, because those three, you talk about not having a deep bench.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity for Republicans. The only thing that's standing in the way is the policies and the voters in California.
Real quick before we go, let's check markets here. 30 minutes before the opening bell sounds. We've got a rally underway, completely reversal while we were on the air. Dow Industrial's up 256, NASDAQ up 112. Have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Thank you, Todd Pyro and Cheryl Casoni. I will see you tonight. And on Tuesday, join us. I'll be joined by Federal Reserve Board of Governors Stephen Meyer and my special guest at 7 a.m. Varney and Company picks it up right now. Stu, take it away.
Good morning, Maria. Good morning, everyone. Oh, we're coming off a dramatic day for your money. A big rally, then a big reversal. The Dow swung 1,100 points and stocks lost $2.7 trillion worth of value. Okay, so what's happening today? Take a look. The Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, all in the green substantially. The Dow's up 258. Now, stocks have been reacting to expectations of a rate cut in December. The market rallied when the December cut came in at a 51% probability. Now we're up 250 on the Dow. However, there is no joy for Bitcoin. It's all the way down to the low $80,000 level. Right now we've struggled back to 83.9. That's Bitcoin. Seems like everything is down this morning. The 10-year Treasury yield, 4.07%. The 2-year, the yield there, 3.51%. Gold, not much change, $4,081 per ounce, is up 21 bucks. Silver below 50, actually right at 50 this morning. Politics, 3 p.m. Eastern, the big meet. New York Mayor-elect Mandami and President Trump together in the Oval Office. The schedule says it's closed, but the president has been known to go off script to bring in the media on occasion. I hope that Trump confronts him with the damage he's doing to New York. That's my opinion. Already, Mandani has emboldened the anti-Semites. Wednesday night, a mob shouted insults and threats at Jews attending a meeting in a synagogue. Mandani is a supporter of Hamas. Trump is not. How about a return to civility? Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy wants to make flying a more pleasant experience. No brawling, no shouting. Treat the gate agents with respect. Say please and thank you. Help people put their luggage in the overhead bin.
So, as I've said a day or two ago, is if you really want to get civility back in the traveling, then open up hubs, American cities, to be hubs for foreign airlines. Bring in competition. Because right now, it is just a bunch of arrogant union members that treat the flying public like crap. And then they're shocked and surprised when that flying public starts to fight back. Back to Varney.
I like that. Friday, November 21st, 2025.
And that was Varney and Company, Nonprofit News Now. Back in a minute. Thank you. Now, some motivation.
What would your life look like if you stopped playing it safe?
There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life that's less than the one you're capable of living.
If you look at your life, if you're not getting what you want, you owe it to yourself to do something differently. You owe it to yourself to start strategically working to change directions. And let me tell you something, you deserve it. Here, you deserve a better life. There is more to your life than you've been living. You deserve it.
Believe. And I don't want you to use your sight to believe. I want you to use your vision to believe. I need you to believe what you're capable of, not what you're doing. I don't need you to focus on what you've done. I need you to focus on what you're capable of doing.
This is a time for you to look at your life, look at where you want to go, look at what you want to do. Well, let me warn you, don't look at where you are. Don't look at your bills. Don't spend time talking about what has happened to you. Keep that eye single. Hold a vision of yourself being successful in the future with whatever you do. That's what you want to do because your thoughts have magnetic power. Where focus goes, energy, persistence, faith, and determination flows.
So what I want you to do for me every day when I wake up, people say, why are you so excited? Because I have a mental picture of where I want to be. I have a mental picture of what I want to do. And even when I was in an abandoned building, I saw that I would not be in an abandoned building forever. And I was homeless once, now I own 2 homes. Because my vision, although my circumstance was homeless, my vision wasn't. I saw myself in a different place. What does your dream look like? What does it smell like? What does it taste like? I saw myself one day being where I am right now. I don't care where you are. Use what you got to get what you want. Use your mind. Use your vision. Use your dream. I dreamed my way out the hood. And then I would get up every day and I would cry. Yo, nobody got to believe in you. Ain't nobody got to talk about you. When you're in the dark, working every single day, you reap what you sow. And at some point, you're going to be great.
Oh, you're being unrealistic. You're dreaming. Yes, I am dreaming. So a lot of people have stopped dreaming. Don't you stop dreaming.
I dare you to use your imagination. I dare you when you grow to use your imagination. I dare you under every single circumstance. Keep dreaming. Keep looking at your dream. Keep focusing on your dream. Keep going after the dream. Because what I know about life is you can't lose if you do not quit. And I kept going and I kept practicing and I kept going because every gift ain't gift wrapped. Just because it ain't easy don't mean you can't get it done. There are no limits, but the ones you place on yourself.
If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, then you can't. Stop looking at reality.
Don't focus on the problem. Don't focus on the amount of work that you gotta do. Focus on the vision. What do you want it to look like? And spend some time throughout the day thinking about, looking about, feeling about, dreaming about what you want it to be like.
Start working and developing yourself now and prepare yourself for what it is that you want because you expect to get it.
Get yourself in position because one day you're going to get your opportunity, baby, to live your dreams and do your thing.
Come out here with what you got. You don't have enough money? Don't worry about it. You don't have enough resources? Don't worry about it. You got the dream. All I want you to do is hold the vision of what you want. I want you to think about that all the time. Hold the vision of what you want. Keep that in your mind's eye. See, we can't control the thoughts that come in our minds, but we can control the thoughts that we dwell on. When you focus on your goals and dreams and you visualize it complete, it will stimulate the reticular activating system and it will lead you there. So your thoughts have magnetism, and the most challenging thing is to discipline your thinking, but hold the vision of what it is that you want. But you can.
And that was a little bit of motivation. Back in a minute. Thank you. And now a little meditation.
Welcome, beautiful soul. In the next 5 minutes, You are giving yourself a precious gift, the gift of calm. This is your time, a pause from the world, a soft doorway back to peace within. Close your eyes gently. Take a deep breath in. And let it out slowly. Feel the ground beneath you supporting you, holding you. With each breath, let your body soften. Your shoulders release. Your jaw unclench. And your heart settle. Now imagine there is a gentle lock in your chest. Not heavy. Not hard. Just a small, quiet lock that holds your calm within. With every inhale, picture yourself holding a golden key. With every exhale, see the lock loosening. Until it gently clicks open, and the moment it does, a soft wave of peace begins to flow through your whole being. Allow this wave to spread across your chest, your arms down to your fingertips, across your back, down your legs, all the way to your toes. Notice how calm feels, perhaps like warm sunlight. Perhaps like a gentle stream. There is no effort here. You are simply receiving. Simply allowing. Breathe with it. Rest with it. Become it. These moments of stillness are seeds you've planted in your heart. Imagine gathering this calm in the center of your heart, like a glowing light. Know that it is always within you, not something you chase, but something you carry. Take one more deep, loving breath in, and a gentle breath out. Slowly wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, open your eyes, carrying your calm into the rest of your day.
And that was a little bit of meditation. Back in a minute. Thank you. And now, the collapse of parenting.
Chapter 10, Humility. When I meet with parents, I sometimes ask, in regard to their children, what is most important to you? What are you trying to help your child to become? Parents often answer, I want my kid to grow to be happy, to be successful, to be kind. That's great, I say. But then I ask, how are you going to help your child get from here to there? What will it take for your child to reach that goal? And many parents aren't sure how to answer. Parents are likely to confuse fulfillment with success. The assumption seems to be that if the child goes to a good college and gets a good job, then personal fulfillment is assured. When I point to the evidence that professional achievement is no guarantee of fulfillment or life satisfaction or happiness, many parents don't know what to say. What do you need to teach your child to best ensure your child's life satisfaction and happiness as an adult? My answer, the first job of the parent today has to be to teach humility. Why humility? Because humility is the best antidote to the core toxicity in the popular culture right now. The assumption that being famous and or wealthy are the highest goods and the most worthwhile goals. Whenever your kid is on TikTok or Instagram or watching TV or going to see a movie, they are likely being indoctrinated into that culture, into that mindset. And because 99.99% of us will never be truly famous or fabulously wealthy, kids who grow up in that culture are much more likely to see themselves as failures, to end up anxious, depressed, and or disengaged, which is just what we are seeing. A culture which prioritizes wealth and fame above everything else is a toxic culture. Humility is the best defense against that toxicity. There is some evidence that the fabulously wealthy are as likely, or perhaps even more likely, to be miserable than the rest of us, but that's a topic for a different book. It is not easy to teach humility. The first problem is that many kids now have no idea what the word humility even means. I was invited to speak to students at a Catholic school. The school leaders asked me to do a short talk for the kids built around a passage from the Bible. I chose Micah chapter 6, verse 8. I explained to the students that in the 6th chapter of the book of Micah, the prophet is asking, what does the Lord require of you? Do you have to dot all the I's and cross all the T's? No, I answered. According to Micah, here is what the Lord requires. It's simple. Do justice, love kindness, and walk humbly with your God. But what does that mean? I asked the students. What does it mean to walk humbly with your God? Raise your hand if you think you know what the word humility means and you are prepared to share your definition with your classmates. A boy shot up his hand. I called on him. Humility means trying to convince yourself you're dumb when you know you're smart. He said. I shook my head. Not quite, I said. That's not humility. That is psychosis, a detachment from reality. How about if we define humility as being as interested in other people as you are in yourself? The kids all looked at me blankly. They had never heard this definition before, or indeed any formal definition of humility. It had never been taught to them. And this was at a school with quotations from the Bible literally chiseled into its stone walls. But I don't blame the boy. How should he know if he has received no instruction? He's immersed in a culture which is all about walking tall, standing proud, and winning it all. And the parents are often just as clueless. I was speaking to parents at another school about the virtue of humility. During Q&A at the end of my talk, a mother objected. She said, I don't want to teach my daughter to be humble. I want her to have high self-esteem so that when that big job opportunity comes along, she will go for it. I don't want her to be humble. I answered, Mom, with all due respect, you are confused. You are confusing being humble with being timid. But humble and timid are not the same thing. True humility is very nearly the opposite of being timid. And the virtue you want for your daughter in that situation, when there's a big job opportunity on the line, is not high self-esteem. The virtue you want your daughter to have in that situation is courage. Courage means that you know your weaknesses, your inadequacies, your failures, your shortcomings, and you find the strength to push forward anyhow. That's the definition I offer. Humility means being as interested in other people as you are interested in yourself. Humility means that when you meet someone new, you try to learn something about them before giving them a spiel about how incredible your current project is. Humility means really listening when someone else is talking, instead of just preparing your own shtick in your head before you've really heard what the other person is saying. Humility means making a sustained effort to get the other person to share their view before trying to inundate them with yours. Humility means taking the time to look up at the sky instead of looking only in the mirror. Researchers distinguish between self-transcendence, which means looking outward at others and at nature, and self-enhancement, where the priority is on maximizing one's own achievement and prestige. Self-transcendence is linked empirically with pro-social behavior and with empathy. Self-enhancement is linked empirically with selfishness. How to promote humble self-transcendence rather than proud self-enhancement in a culture which is all about proud self-enhancement. One study suggests one small way that you might begin. In this study, researchers randomly assigned undergraduates to one of two conditions. In one condition, undergraduates spent 1 minute outdoors looking up at towering 200-foot-tall eucalyptus trees. In the other condition, undergraduates spent 1 minute outdoors looking up at a tall building. Looking up at tall trees did indeed lead to feelings of awe, as the researchers expected, whereas looking up at the tall building did not lead to feelings of awe. The students who had looked at the tall trees were subsequently significantly more likely to help the experimenter after a carefully staged accident in which the experimenter spilled a dozen pens on the ground. And the students who had looked at the trees felt significantly less entitled, less likely to agree with statements such as, I'm just more deserving than others, after just 1 minute of tree gazing. One lesson I take home from that study: spend more time with nature. 40 years ago, I was dating a young woman whose father was a devout Christian. He had lived on a farm in the western Maryland countryside all his life, surrounded by other farms, the nearest big city several hours' drive away. I had lived all my life in the city or the suburbs, Cleveland, Boston, Philadelphia. My girlfriend and I traveled to his farm for a visit over the Christmas holiday. I decided to challenge this man. I asked him, why are people way out in the country more likely to be religious, but people living in the city are more likely to be atheists? He paused for a moment, smiled just a bit, then answered, "People in the city are surrounded by things that men have made. People in the country are surrounded by the things that God has made." I think there's some truth to that. We now have good evidence that more time outdoors, whether in the park or in the forest or in the mountains, leads to improved mood, better self-control, and even better memory. To teach humility, start by spending more time outdoors. And by outdoors, I don't mean walking on the sidewalk from one store to another. I mean outdoors in nature. If you live in the city, find a park. When you are planning the big family vacation, forget Disney World. Cancel Universal Studios. Delete Legoland. Plan a trip to a national park instead. The opposite of humility is inflated self-esteem. I visited an elementary school where the third grade students were each required to write 5 words to describe how amazing they are. Each student was then supposed to attach the words to a big cutout of their own name. Everything was posted on the bulletin board for everybody to see. I took a photograph of one boy's work. He chose these words to describe himself: marvelous, awesome, talented, excellent, misspelled, a genius, misspelled. I don't mean to pick on this boy. After all, he was just doing the assignment. I share this story to illustrate how little awareness there is in some schools of the way in which a puffed-up ego at age 8 or age 14 can lead to resentment at age 20 or 25. I will explain how egotism leads to resentment in just a moment. I took another photo at a different school of a flowery poster with the words, "Dream until your dreams come true." That's bad advice. That advice cultivates a sense of entitlement, implying that all you have to do in order for your dreams to come true is to dream. Better advice might be, work until your dreams come true. That might not sound as appealing, but it would be one notch closer to the truth. An even truer statement would be, work in pursuit of your dreams, but realize that life is what happens while you are making other plans. Tomorrow may never come, or may be unrecognizably different. I had the privilege of giving the keynote address at a gathering of public charter school administrators. We all agreed that school should be about more than grades and test scores. We all agreed that teachers should do more than teach math and science and English and history. We all agreed that part of the mission of the school should be to teach character and virtue. But which virtue? What sort of character? That's where the conversation gets interesting. School administrators fall into 2 camps. One camp wants to talk about grit, passion, and perseverance. Go for it. Start your own company. Move fast and break things. Have a growth mindset. You can do anything if you try hard enough. Their role models are often men like Elon Musk and other billionaire entrepreneurs. The other camp talks about service and self-sacrifice. Treat others the way you would like to be treated yourself. Love your neighbor. Everybody can be great because everybody can serve. Their role models are Mother Teresa, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and often Abraham Lincoln. As you know, I have visited a great many schools. I have observed that a school can be either an Elon Musk school or it can be a Mother Teresa school. But it can't be both. One school administrator, not at the conference, put it bluntly, "I don't think it's our job to teach kids about loving your neighbor and all that stuff." He said to me, "That's the parents' job. Our job is to give each kid the skills they need to make their dreams come true. So yeah, if I have to choose, I would say we are more about Elon Musk than Mother Teresa, definitely. Elon Musk or Mother Teresa. This choice influences every aspect of what a school does. At one school I visited, where every student has an iPad, each 5th grader was assigned to make a commercial on his or her iPad to show how amazing he or she is. That's an Elon Musk school. At a Mother Teresa school, the students would have been assigned to make a commercial about a great American, such as Dwight Eisenhower, Martin Luther King Jr., or Amelia Earhart. Someone other than themselves. Charlene, a high school student, attends an Elon Musk school. She told me that she hopes and expects to be a famous novelist someday. She's a teenager who has experienced the usual slings and arrows of adolescence and has used those experiences as grist for her fiction. Her teachers have praised her writing. She has sent manuscripts to literary agents but has received only rejection notices. Charlene has very high self-esteem. I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. Her high self-esteem at age 15 is setting her up for disappointment and resentment at age 25. I have witnessed this trajectory many times. Soaring self-esteem in childhood and adolescence, carefully nurtured by parents and teachers, often leads to a crash after college, typically about 2 to 5 years after graduation, when it slowly dawns on the young adult, the same adult who had been so talented as an adolescent, that she's actually not as talented as she thought she was. She discovers that just because she was repeatedly told that she is amazing does not mean that she is, in fact, amazing. Or she may hang on to that high self-esteem and continue to believe in her own amazingness as her self-esteem curdles into resentment. I'm way more talented than that woman who was on the Today Show talking about her novel. My novel is so much better. Why her? Why not me? It's totally not fair. Why should I have to work for a low wage in a cubicle while she's on the Today Show talking about how great she is? Put bluntly, bloated self-esteem leads to resentment. If I'm so wonderful, but my talents are not recognized, and I'm still nobody at age 25, then I feel envious and resentful of those who are more successful. The right kind of humility helps you to recognize your own shortcomings, to correct your deficiencies, to become better prepared, to understand the risks, and to take those risks courageously when necessary. The antidote to the culture of bloated self-esteem is the culture of humility. If I am humble, then I rejoice at the success of others, and I am happy with my portion. Humility leads to gratitude and contentment is the key to lasting happiness. This conclusion is now grounded in some compelling research. Investigators have recently found that if an individual has a grateful attitude toward life, they are more likely to be satisfied with their life, more contented and happier, as well as having more of a sense of being in control of their life. Again, this is not exactly a new insight. Traditionally, American parents taught this truth to their children with sayings such as, count your blessings and be grateful for what you have. It's less common to hear American parents say such things today, except as consolation after their child isn't picked to star in the school play, or when their high school senior gets the thin envelope from Stanford. The sequence of events matters here. Many of us regard gratitude as a result. Santa Claus brings the child an unexpected, wonderful present, and the child is grateful to Santa Claus. But researchers are discovering that a grateful attitude is a cause of happiness, psychological well-being, and a sense of personal mastery. Humility, gratitude, and contentment. These are key virtues which American kids today are unlikely to possess. After years of indoctrination in their own awesomeness, these are the virtues you want to teach your child or teen before disappointment comes. I understand that this may rub some of you the wrong way. I went through an Ayn Rand phase myself when I was a teenager. Ayn Rand was an author who won fame for writing novels such as The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged, which featured strong, selfish protagonists.
Okay, so that's we're going to stop there. It's the first half of Chapter 10, Humility. Now, the problem he's having here is that he doesn't remember the past. He doesn't remember in the 1970s. The 1970s was known as the Me decade. And it was known as that because there was a movement in the 60s and 70s about crime. There's a lot of lefties that want to know, why do we have all this crime and criminals? And so the theory was that there must be a root cause for crime and criminality. Other things as well, but they concentrated on crime. So what they came up with in the 70s was that crime is about self-esteem. That the people that are criminals, particularly habitual or career criminals, had low self-esteem. And so the logic was, if low self-esteem produces criminals, then high self-esteem should produce good, solid citizens. So that's where we got into the "you're awesome," the overdoing it. What they're really doing, teachers and parents in the 1970s and since then, is selling false esteem, false self-esteem. That's the problem when he's talking about the kids that he sees that after they leave school and they realize that this crash, I'm not as good as I thought I was. Those are the kids that have been given a false sense of self-esteem. There are kids that are truly awesome. I remember when I was in the second, third grade, we had a recital, and I was sitting in the audience, and they had kids that were playing the violin in this recital. And so most of the kids would scratch out, twinkle, twinkle, little star, Wasn't very good, right? But, all the parents are there and they, clapping. There was one student named Todd, glasses, red hair, and he was a virtuoso on the violin. He was playing Mozart when all the other kids were barely scratching out Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. I mean, he was doing it like a professional. Okay, so there's no way you're going to sit there and talk to him about your false self-esteem or that he's not as good as he thinks he is, because he knows damn well that he's as good as he thinks he is. And there's other kids like that are math whizzes, for instance. I knew a guy in high school that was doing college-level mathematics. And we've all heard the stories, the 13-year-olds that are getting bachelor's degrees from Harvard and whatnot. Those are kids that know they're as good as they say they are. What most kids are getting today is false sense of self-esteem. Because, again, the theory is that if criminals have bad self-esteem, and that's why they're criminals, then if we want to prevent kids from becoming criminals, We have to give them positive self-esteem. And very often what that means is no criticism. We don't dare criticize the child because that might give them poor self-esteem and they might end up becoming a criminal. The problem with that, of course, is that everybody has free will. We all know about people that are extremely talented that go wrong. There's a guy that used to be on the USC football team, University of Southern California. He was a quarterback, Todd Marinovich. And he went and played professional football, but he couldn't stay away from drugs. He just loved his drugs. He loved to get stoned. He loved to get drunk. And that was the end of that. His career was very short. I think he lasted 2 years in the pros, but he was extremely talented. So high self-esteem doesn't guarantee that you're not going to become a criminal. Low self-esteem doesn't guarantee that you will, because we all have free will. Back in a minute. Thank you. This is Ron, your host, the only true conservative of the United States today, bidding adios to all the butchers, bakers, and candlestick makers out there and reminding you that determinism is a choice.